Hey, what's up, guys? It's Alan Brown Enriquez, your host of Artistic Visions, the show where we like to go in-depth with young artists at OCAD, talk about their art, what they like to talk about in their art, and what they would like to talk about in their art. Today's episode, I got a very special guest for a special Grad X episode, Daria. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, it's a little. I don't know why. I felt like tired today, but
Maybe the weather.
maybe the weather. It's a little gloomy outside,
Yeah.
but it's all good. It's nice chill. But you know what? Let's start the interview off the bat. Who are you, and what kind of art do you usually make?
I'm a fourth year OCAD student doing my thesis right now, finishing up. I am majoring in drawing and painting, but I found myself more focusing on the material arts pathway, and I've found way more enjoyment in that personally. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna see that right now with your thesis piece that you're presenting, and you said it is. What was it called?
Ceramic.
Yes.
They're all ceramics. They're thrown pots that I've pit fired to achieve different variations of color, and it's all like natural elements that are creating the blacks and the browns and the grays, the greens. Everything you see is all like 100% natural, and
Wow.
it's just up to the fire to take care of that. Yeah.
The fire decides for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I was looking at, I've followed a little bit of what you've made in the past, and I was really excited to see what you're gonna do. And yeah, these pots are so like clean, and I was wondering about the actual material because it looked like that it's like almost meshed with different material to give it that pattern, but I really like how that natural pattern came out.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
Yeah, like, was that something you were trying to accomplish, or was that something that like just came about and it was like, oh, that I want to do more patterns?
Sure. It's like it is a traditional method of firing pottery.
Okay.
And I've always been drawn to just like the ritual of sitting by the fire, so I kind of wanted to play with that. So I spent time making pots, and I really wanted to make them refined and clean. And then once you put them into the fire, you kind of remove yourself from the process. Obviously, you tend to the fire. But it's usually like an 8-hour ordeal. You just sit by the fire, stoking it, adding wood, and then the next morning it's still extremely hot, but you get to pull them out and then see what happened.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious because I feel like with waiting for 8 hours, there might be a lot of trial and errors.
Absolutely.
And so what are some kind of hurdles that you had to come across?
Let me tell you. So if you see my Grad X display, you'll notice that they're all pretty like medium-sized, smaller pots. Originally, my intent was to go really big. I had made a pot that was at least this tall and this big in circumference, and I was really excited about it. It was like a pretty big accomplishment for me, but deep down, I knew that it was a massive risk, and what happened? I put it in the fire, and in like 30 minutes, the whole thing just shattered.
No.
So that was a fun part, a learning part of the process, I could say. But it ended up being okay. I learned a lot from it, and the piece is no more, but yeah.
But that was a stepping stone
exactly,
to get to where you are now.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I just want to talk about like how they look and their shape. Their shapes are amazing. I love how they look, and what just drew me in is the pattern. Like I love like how I'm kind of blown away that it was like naturally achieved through just like the traditional process and like through cooking it and oh my gosh, like was there actually any like kind of like coating or something put on, or is it just like straight out of the fire? And
they are waxed, so I do burnish them. It's like a process where you compress the clay when it's still wet, and that kind of achieves the first step of making it shiny. And then after it comes out of the fire, you have to wash them. They're covered in ash. I let them dry, and then I put wax on top, and I like buff it out to get a really nice shiny finish. But yeah, the black is 100% just carbon trapping that happens when wood is burnt. It's like reduced to its, simplest form, and the carbon that's released in the air gets trapped. When clay is hot, its pores kind of open up and it'll accept whatever's in the environment. So that's what's happening.
I'm really new to the material arts and design process of things, and especially like with clay and ceramics. I'm not really well versed in that kind of subject, but to learn how it traps it and like that's what is changing the color is like that's pretty interesting. I do want to kind of go conceptually. You know, what was the idea behind going for this you know, style of, you know, pottery?
Sure. I am from a long family of craftspeople. My Iranian side, it goes back many generations. My grandma was a weaver, my father's a woodworker, and I guess now I can call myself a ceramicist.
It runs in the family.
It does run in the family for sure. So I was just really drawn to craft as, you know, a method of just expressing myself and my heritage. And then I can also make the connection to fire, to my heritage, because in the Zoroastrian religion, fire is basically a method of, like, a bridge between the spiritual world and the human world. So it's become, I mentioned earlier, like, it's a ritualistic process. And, you know, every celebration we have, fire is always involved. The fire is something that I've, like, experienced my whole life, and now I'm just able to use the fire to create something now. Instead of it just being something that I participate in, it's like I can have these, like, mementos from each time I'm doing this fire. And I've recorded, like, the temperature on the date, the weather, what it was like, what wood was burned, because I feel like that all has an effect on the results somehow.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And, you know, I mean, like what you were saying before, like how to treat the wood, you know, that's how you get that black marking onto the pot, right? Yep. So, yeah, of course, you know, a lot of it and temperature, you know, affects it. But, wow, I really love the idea behind that because, yeah, no, I understand how much closer you kind of feel to, you know, not only your family, but like more of like the religious side and the spiritual side, you know, and that's really interesting because, yeah, people could be like, well, I'll just do it like this way or make it more look culturally. But I think the process for you was that kind of bridge for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the forms, they're a little bit more contemporary, but I am pulling from like traditional Iranian pots. And obviously there's modern, like, techniques I'm using. I'm throwing on an electric wheel. They're fired once in an electric kiln. So it's like a bridge, just, you know.
Yeah, like you're bridging the modern and the past.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all bridging together. I really love that idea, like the concept. I absolutely am in love with, you know, how much there is going into this. You know, there's such a heavy process already here. Yeah. But, you know, I think with the methods you're going for, it's more supposedly traditional, right? And it's to bridge that within yourself and to others as well.
Yes.
So I really love that. You know, I think I already talked about it, but, you know, what kind of messages were you kind of trying to tackle here in, you know, with your thesis piece?
It was really personal for me, experimenting, and there's also like an aspect of returning to the land because I'm from 45 minutes away from Toronto. I live on like a beautiful plot of land where I grew up. So I'm really familiar. Like, I know every rock, I know every tree. And in like the last decade, there's an invasive species that's kind of destroyed the ash tree, and every ash tree on our property is basically dead. So that's what we're using to burn the fire, and it's all just like all an accumulation to like make me understand the like process, you know? Yeah, it's just all adding to that.
Yeah, you're kind of taking from, you know, metaphorically your backyard, you know, like this place, you know, and kind of still, even though the tree is dead, you're still giving it that life with giving it a new purpose.
Exactly. It's like recorded in these pots. It's almost like a journal of what was burned, where I was, you know?
Yeah, and you're saying with the carbon being trapped, you're kind of trapping the remnants.
Exactly.
Of the ash tree, right?
It's forever there. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. No, I that is such a wow. I love the amount of connections you have going on.
I tried.
I
tried.
And that's what I really love. Like, you know, like, because, you know, I can sit here and look at it visually, but like conceptually, that's something that you can tell, and for you to tell it and for me to understand it now on a deeper like level. Like I really appreciate that
Yeah.
that side. You did touch on it before, but I do want to go into it. Maybe you might have a little bit more insight, but who or what kind of was your inspiration when creating this thesis piece?
It is deeply rooted in like my family history, just my heritage. You know, I'm not particularly religious. I like extremely value all the celebrations that we have, our connection to fire. Something as simple as Persian New Year has just allowed me to connect with my environment so much more, just because the meaning of it to me is just so poignant. Like,
Yes.
It just makes sense to me. This is the new year, a symbol of rebirth. The fire is also a symbol of rebirth in many contexts, and I guess I could apply that to this as well. It's just like a self-exploration, me finding myself, my connection to my heritage, that I feel that sometimes has been like cut short just because of proximity and, you know, political situations. I'm not able to connect with my people as much as I want to, so whatever way I can do that is good to me.
But because you're in material arts and design, you're obviously working a lot with fire most of the time, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, at a certain point, you're probably staring at the fire and being like, you're connecting and slowly just thinking about those ideas that are already traditionally there within your culture. And now, you know, you're kind of almost like face to face with it in a different context, right?
And these fires that I could go on and on talking about how much of important part of it is to me, because, you know, they call the fire like the hearth, you know, I don't know how to say the word, but like it's where the family gathers, and that's true to my experience. We use it as a method of like I said, recycling, cleaning. We always use the fire to make tea, to make food. We don't like let the fire
go to waste.
Yes, I don't want to say it's not wasteful ever, but like we're always using it to create something else. So yeah, I could just talk about it for hours.
No, but I you know, I'm understanding that connection because, I'm a little bit of a pyromaniac, so I love fire.
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
But like, there is that, like, there's that warmth, that comfort that already comes with fire, and you know, obviously there's that danger that comes with it. So there's like almost a sense of like taking care of the fire, making sure it doesn't go too big, making sure it doesn't go out.
And you need to respect it, because once it was in February, I did one pit fire, and the fire will melt the ground around it, and it becomes really slippery. And I slipped really close, and it was, I was like scary. A reminder, like, you need to chill out, you need to slow down, because it was really scary.
Yeah, no, that
way
is,
too close.
Yeah, that's pretty scary, but I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah.
You know, but no, I totally get that. Like, you know, the fire is such a big symbol, and I mean, like, even going back to like the dawn of man. Yeah,
it's universal,
right? It's like,
right?
cavemen created fire, and then that's when we started gaining that idea.
Yeah, for sure.
And stuff. So I understand the connections there, and you know, I do want to bring you back to first year.
Sure.
And I want you to kind of, you know, what would you compare in terms of your art from your first year self to now?
Yeah, I'm still technically in drawing and painting. So I will be showing with all the drawing and painting people, all my peers. And when I came in, I was, you know, convinced that drawing and painting, that's what I came here to do. That's what I'm meant to do. That's what I want to do. Maybe COVID had an impact on that and how I felt about it, because I got bored of it really quickly. I took a jewelry class and I took a ceramics class, and I basically never left the second floor. I don't know, I fell in love with it. I just realized that, you know, I need to be doing something more tangible with my hands. And I'm proud of myself for making that decision. I think it just happened at the right time for me. So if I were to tell anything to my first year self, is just try as many things as possible. You're in this institution that has access, you have access to so many different tools, materials. Why would you stop yourself from trying? Just see what you like. I'm curious to actually, you know, kind of going off, you know, what was the thing that kind of drew you to drawing and painting in the first place? I spent a lot of my time drawing just before I came to OCAD, drawing, painting. It was accessible, you know, and I think it's almost what most people start with. Looking back at it, like, I asked myself, was I really, like, is this really what I wanted to do, or was it just because it was what I had accessible to me. I don't really know. Another thing is I really didn't know about the MAD program until I saw it like in person. So maybe that would have changed my decision, but I don't know actually. It's just kind of where I ended up.
Yeah. After you saw the big workshops, you were like,
yeah, I was
I need
like,
to get
I
in
need
that,
to be
to
here.
that kiln.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. And, you know, I'm just poking because I just want to, I'm
for sure.
intrigued at how you got to this point, because, you know, that it's such a big jump. You know, painting is such a different medium compared to, you know, sculpting and creating a mold, and then, you know, having to burn that, wait for that process. That's, like you said, 8 hours or so. And, you know, that is a lot of time. And, you know, especially because, you know, you have like drawing and painting classes and you're like, oh, I'll just do it in the last hour.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
with this, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I'm really intrigued at that. And these are amazing little pots as well. You know, where can people find this work at Grad X?
I don't know yet. I find out on Friday.
I hate that Grad X does this.
A fourth floor is somewhere on the fourth floor.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay, so if you want to find Daria's work, which you should, and please do, fourth floor at Grad X. It'll be May 1st to May 5th.
Yes, you can't miss me. I'm the only one with ceramics up there, so.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting that they put you next to drawing and painting.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't question me. They said, yeah, if you're drawing and painting, you're gonna be up here. So.
Yeah. Are you gonna be like a little podium or something, or is it like?
I'm gonna have like plinths and stuff where my stuff was gonna be on, but I really don't know. They're leaving us in the dark until then. So yeah.
Well, that's fun. That's amazing. And before I do end off this episode, I do want to ask: is there anything you'd like to plug or promote or put out there for the world to know?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at Dinky Daria. That's DINKY DARIA.
Yes. Yeah. It will be on screen. So yeah, if you can't miss it.
Yeah.
Again, Daria, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. No, I love the insight into the mad world. that was pretty good. I actually didn't plan for that. But thank you so much once again. My
pleasure.
Of course. And thank you for watching this episode of Artistic Visions. Cannot wait to see you guys very, very soon. Take it easy. I hope you have a great day, good week, or a great weekend. Bye.